This is Professor Zilke. Today I'm going to go over how to make a reading analysis video. We're going to be making several of these videos over the course of the semester, so definitely take note. I'm going to be using Indian Education by Sherman Alexie as my example. The first step in making an analysis video is to read the assignment and know what you are being asked to do. For this assignment, you're going to be reading the text Indian Education. Afterward, you're going to be choosing 2 of the grades to analyze. The only grade you can't choose is grade 1, since I'm going to be doing that for my example. For each grade analysis, you're going to pick out 3 to 4 details from the narrative to analyze. You'll discuss the broader implications of the text and what it communicates about the author's life or the general experiences of those living on the reservation. For step 2, you're going to read the text and narrow down your focus. When doing a textual analysis, it is important that you read the entire text, and not just the sections that you plan to analyze. This allows you to know where the section fits within the broader ideas of the text as a whole. As you read, you can narrow down what sections you want to discuss. Choose passages that you find interesting and complex so that you have plenty to analyze. Next, you want to choose the exact quotes that you want to discuss. Make sure that the quotes are interesting and complex. You'll also want to decide how you plan to include the text in your video. There are a couple options for including text in your video. One is to just copy the text directly into the video, which is what I'm going to be doing today. You could also screenshot the reading, either with an image or a video, and this can be a more engaging way of going over the text. I do suggest adding the entire passage and not just the words that you plan on analyzing, because it does provide important context. Now that you have an idea of the quotes that you want to analyze, you need to take some time to make a script. It doesn't have to be anything formal, a Google Doc will work just fine. The goal is for your narration to be as clear and to the point as possible. Once you have your script done, it's time to make your video. My name is Professor Zilke, and I'm going to be doing a video analysis for Indian Education by Sherman Alexie. The first section I'm going to analyze is first grade. In this first passage, he is describing his experience starting first grade at a reservation school. His mention of U.S. government glasses tells us that his family is poor, and that much of what he has is provided by the government through social services. He alludes to his social isolation when he mentions being chased across the playground. It is important to note that while the connotation of a playground is to be fun and carefree, for Alexie he feels vulnerable and unsafe. In this next passage, he continues to communicate his sense of isolation in regards to the other kids at school. He says that he was always falling down, but we are meant to understand that he is actually being pushed and bullied. All the nicknames for him are related to his victimization by the other boys in the class. Near the end of the passage, he says that none of them had seen a white boy cry. This is important to note since it tells us that Alexie and the other kids on the reservation are very much segregated from the rest of society, and it points to a structural problem and a sense of isolation for those living on the reservation. In this third passage, Alexie describes finally having enough and deciding to fight back against a boy named Frenchie who is bullying him. He uses the words "little warrior" to describe the way he saw himself in that moment, which is an allusion to his Native American identity and the way that he connects to it. We see this identity brought up again at the end of the passage when he describes Frenchie as wearing war paint. As the reader, we understand that Alexie doesn't fully understand what his Native identity means to him. Considering the examples he gives us, we might believe that he is getting a lot of his ideas about what it means to be Native from the media, rather than from first-hand experience. So that's the end of my analysis for the first grade. So let's look at what I did and what I avoided doing. Here are some things you definitely want to do for your video. 1. Make a plan and have a clear structure. 2. Use title cards to break up your video and transition between ideas. 3. Make a script. 4. Use text and images to help clarify, which means it should add to the video and it should relate to your topic. Finally, if you're going to use humor or informal language, that's fine, but make sure it adds to your analysis. Here are some things to avoid. First of all, don't ramble. That's why we make a script. You don't want to be making it up as you go along. Don't use text or images that don't serve a purpose. The images and the text should always relate to the topic or what you're actually talking about. And then finally, don't use humor or informal language to undermine or make fun of the text. While it's fine to be informal, you want to make sure that you're still respecting the text that you're talking about. Okay, so that's all I have for now. Now it's your turn to make your own video. Make sure to remember that you are going to be analyzing 2 of the grades and not just 1 like I did. Make sure that if you have any questions, you let me know, and otherwise I will talk to you guys later. Bye.